Hi, I'm TJ from Reviewed, and today we're here to talk about the Roku and the Apple TV and sort of comparing how the two boxes stack up. So we recently reviewed all of the streaming devices for 2017. So all the new Rokus, the new Apple TV 4K, everything from Amazon, Google, Nvidia, everybody. Our two favorites were the Roku Ultra, which is our best overall, and the Apple TV 4K, which we considered the best for high-end. Here we're going to sort of compare what they do differently, what they each do well, and why you might want to consider the Apple TV over the Roku or the Roku over the Apple TV. So for starters, we have the Roku Ultra. It costs $100. And it supports 4K HDR. It comes with a really fancy remote that can even control your TV's volume. And the Roku platform supports all the most popular streaming services. So Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all of them. It does have typically some kind of an ad on the side. That is something that some users are not a big fan of just because it seems a little intrusive. But you can actually hide a lot of these ad-supported channels like the Fandango stores in the menu. So that is something you can get rid of. Generally speaking though, the reason why Roku is so popular is it's really easy to use. In addition to sort of a basic interface and 4K and HDR and some of the fancier features, the Ultra has a really neat feature that we all actually really love, and that's its ability to find the remote. So right on the box, there's a little remote finding button. You can see it says signaling remotes, and that once it finds the remote, it actually will play a little song on your remote. So it's a nice easy way if you lose your remotes in the cushions or if you have kids and they love to take the remote all over the house, then you're all set. Kind of in addition to those features is the new remote, as I said before, has these volume controls on it. So you could actually control your TV's volume. So if you're a cord cutter and you just have a TV and a Roku, you don't actually have to have your TV remote because you've got everything you need right there. In addition, the Roku also supports voice search, which is something you'll find on most streaming devices. It's pretty quick, so if I just go say Stranger Things, you can see it pulls up Stranger Things right there, and then I can actually go straight to Netflix or wherever I want to actually watch it. The last feature that we really love about the Roku Ultra is, again, with the remote, is it has a little headphone jack on it. You can plug in just a regular pair of headphones, and anything you're streaming through the Roku, you can listen to wirelessly. Buying wireless headphones often for your TV will cost you about $100, which is what the Roku costs. So the Ultra sits at the top of the 2017 lineup. If you want to save some money, we do also recommend the Roku Streaming Stick Plus, which is a new one, also does 4K HDR, but it's a little Wi-Fi stick that goes in the back of your TV, whereas the Roku Ultra supports wired internet, which is just going to be a little easier to set up, especially if you're like most people and your modem for your internet is right next to your TV anyway. So we've gone through the Roku Ultra, and you're probably wondering how it compares to the Apple TV 4K. Now, it's an Apple product, so there's some things you can expect. Obviously, it has a pretty sleek interface. It's going to be very clean, very minimalist. So for starters, we'll start with how you actually navigate it, and that's going to be the Apple remote. So it's an updated remote. If you have an older Apple TV that you hate the remote on, this one is marginally better, has a couple nice features. The main way you navigate as opposed to the Roku is you have this sort of touchpad, which not everyone is going to love. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. If I want to go all the way over, I kind of have to swipe 5 times. It's really annoying. But generally speaking, it does work fine. It's just not as comfortable to me as a remote that has clickier buttons. The other thing on the remote that is supported is, of course, voice search. And again, it's an Apple product, so you're going to get Siri voice search. So here, if I do Stranger Things, it'll pop up, it'll give me the option right here, and then I'll say, oh, take me right to Stranger Things on Netflix. Now, if I want to search for a movie, like, say, Wonder Woman, it now gives me a lot more options. So I can open it in iTunes, I can rent it for $6, or I can buy it with iTunes Extra. So one of the nice things about iTunes and the fact that Apple's now supporting 4K is they've actually gone and upgraded most iTunes movie purchases to 4K for free. You don't have to do anything. If you have them in your iTunes library, you already paid for them, they're now going to be available in 4K if that's an option. The 4K Apple TV also supports Dolby Vision HDR. Only some TVs support Dolby Vision HDR, so things like LG OLEDs and a few other models. If your TV doesn't support Dolby Vision now, it likely will not in the future. It's not a thing they can add through software. If you do have a Dolby Vision HDR TV, you may want to think about the Apple TV 4K because it's the only box that supports Dolby Vision. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you may have noticed that your Videos app changed to TV. and that's because Apple has made an attempt to condense most of your video watching on your devices, including the Apple TV, into one app. You can watch them on separate apps, so you can pull up the Netflix app and watch things through there. You can pull up the Hulu app and watch things through there. But if you want to pull it all into one interface, the TV app does that. And that includes, new TV shows you can get through iTunes, TV shows that may be on some other streaming apps that you have access to, as well as movies on Amazon Prime and a few other things. And the nice thing is it does carry across all your devices. So if you have an iPhone and an iPad and you're watching a movie on here, you can pick it up on your device really easily just by going to your TV app. It does have a few missing pieces, like Netflix TV shows don't pull into TV shows here. That's something they could probably fix down the line. But if you watch a lot of Netflix, the TV app probably not going to be as useful as it might be to somebody else. All right, so we've gone over now the Roku and the Apple TV 4K, talked about what they offer. How do they compare? Well, there's sort of three things that sort of separate them. The first obvious one is price. The Roku Ultra is the highest end Roku. There are cheaper versions. It's still only $100, which is about $80 less than the Apple TV 4K. They support basically the same features. They do most of the same stuff. If you just want something to watch Netflix on, the Roku Ultra is your best bet for the money. The other option would be the remote. The Roku Ultra remote, it's just much better than the Apple TV remote. The Apple TV remote is fancier. It's got a little touchpad on it. That's cool. But generally speaking, I would prefer to have a remote that has clicky buttons. It's got dedicated buttons to get to Netflix and some of the most popular streaming services. It controls the volume on your TV. It's got a headphone jack for wireless listening. The Roku remote, it's just better. The last thing that would sort of make your decision for you is whether your TV supports Dolby Vision HDR. Now, both boxes do 4K and HDR. If you're buying a new 4K HDR TV, you're going to be good with either one. But if your TV supports Dolby Vision HDR, then the Apple TV 4K is the only one that supports Dolby Vision. So I'd probably lean in that direction. So there you have it. If you're comparing the Roku Ultra to the Apple TV 4K, to us, for most people, it's no contest. The Roku Ultra is just better. We'd recommend it. That's why it won Best Overall for our roundup of streaming boxes. Now, we did, of course, test every streaming box on the market, so all the ones from Google, Amazon, everybody. If you want to read our opinion on all those boxes and how they all compare, head to review.com and search for best streaming devices.